So I just got finished playing the game Tunic, and one thing that's been on my mind is how the game managed to evoke the feeling of the original Legend of Zelda that I played once or twice when I was like 8 years old at my friend's house. Hi, I'm Mike, and to be very upfront about this, I am not an expert in the original Legend of Zelda. As I mentioned, I played it maybe once or twice at my friend's house when I was much younger. So if I think about it critically for even a second, obviously the mechanics of Tunic and the original Legend of Zelda are nowhere near the same, and yet somehow they still feel the same in my memory. And I wanted to take this video to try to explore that and figure out how we can use this in games that we want to make ourselves. And as a brief review or summary of the game, if you haven't played it yet, there will be some light spoilers in this video. I think it's a great game to check out if you're interested in exploration and or puzzle solving games. I think the combat is kind of the weak point here, but there is a accessibility setting that you can turn on to help to overcome the frustration of the combat if that is causing you too many problems. And I think stopping the game because the combat isn't great is a real shame, because the star of Tunic is the puzzle solving meta elements of it, and I think it's worth checking out. So a lot of the memories I have about this game are more feelings than actual memories of playing the game, but I think that works in favor of Tunic, because if I were more familiar with the source material, it may not have that same kind of nostalgic impact on me. Now, I think a good place to start would be to define my memories of The Legend of Zelda, or at least how I remember it feeling to play. My feelings on the game are that it was a large world that was hard to navigate around because the enemies kept getting in the way of what I was interested in doing, which was just exploring and solving puzzles, going into dungeons, finding hidden objects or hidden doors. I remember some frustration because there were certain things that my friend would tell me to do that would unlock a secret that I thought to myself, well, how was I supposed to know that? How would I discover that on my own? Let's take a look at the mechanics of Tunic and how it manages to evoke some of those feelings. First off, I think Tunic does something very clever here in terms of being able to hide things in plain sight. They've chosen to use an orthographic view of the character in the world, which means that you can't rotate the camera around, and there's no real perspective in the distance, which means that they can just hide things behind other objects, and you won't know that it's there until you stumble across it or you just find it from a different direction. There are several times throughout this game where I have discovered a hidden shortcut back to the start of an area that was literally just hidden behind an object. And these wonderful aha moments made me want to keep going and looking in nooks and crannies all around the world to see what else I could find. And this is a great way to encourage exploration. And as you get more powerful, you find more items, more potions to allow you to explore further through the combat system. And there are certain items that will unlock paths that were not open to you before. And all of these things helps to create a very interconnected, complicated, and interesting world to explore. It really does evoke this sense of wonder and kind of awe at the world, the design of the world. One of the big things that you find as you explore the world are pages to the manual from the game Tunic. It's a very interesting and unique way of doing tutorialization in the game, because the manual itself is written in a language, or the game actually has a language of its own that is incomprehensible, and yet from the images you find in the manual to the instructions and the diagrams of someone who has played the game prior to you, you find a lot of secrets and things hidden throughout the world. And it is a great way that they've discovered to create an air of extra mystery and problem solving that you need in order to be able to complete the game. Now, this isn't without its problems. There are certainly ways to miss these pages, and if you're not looking at the pages carefully enough, you can definitely miss the tutorialization that they're trying to convey to you, or misunderstand what they're trying to say. But I think Tunic, by and large, pulls it off. Another thing that I'd like to call attention to is just the aesthetics of the game, the relatively bright color palette, the very simplified textures and shapes that everything are made of. Definitely harkens back to earlier 3D games where these were the norm because they had to be and not an aesthetic choice. The shallow depth of field makes it feel like you're playing in a miniature world, which evokes memories, for me at least, of playing with little Lego figures with my friends. And I think the combination of the modern mechanics to evoke the sense of wonder and puzzle solving and challenge at exploring the world, combined with the nostalgic aesthetics, is one of the things that comes together to really make this game evoke that old feeling from my memories of playing the original Legend of Zelda. As I mentioned earlier, one of the areas I think that Tunic kind of falls a bit short is the combat. The combat doesn't feel good until you get your sword and your shield, both of which are entirely possible to miss. And even when you have both of these items, it's only ever okay, which is a shame because so much of the game is built upon exploration and puzzle solving and trying to figure out the mystery of this world. Some challenge is good, yes, because you want the world to feel dangerous, but not being able to really have time to explore and poke at all of the different parts of this world, I think it does the game a huge disservice because, again, so much of it is built on exploration. So, what can you take from this to start to apply to your designs in terms of trying to evoke nostalgia for the games that you want to make? Well, I think the first step is to really define in a couple of words what the feeling is you want to evoke in your players. And then once you have those defined, it's just a matter of choosing which mechanics you think will best serve to evoke those feelings in your players. So I hope this video has been helpful in helping you to start thinking about mechanics that you can use or how to evoke feelings of nostalgia in the games that you want to make. If you've made it this far in the video, hitting the like button is a great way to help get the video out to a wider audience. YouTube thinks that you'll like this video. And that's it for me for now. So good luck with your projects, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.